Alright, so those of you who've been following my streams would know that I've been having a problem with KOF All-Stars trying to support the game with the cash shop. It turns out that I signed up as, I guess, a teenager on the account, and I guess when I was clicking through things, I did not notice that. So that limits you to a $5,000, or five, not $5,000, but 5,000 yen spending limit, which is really not that much. That's about maybe $45 or so, or maybe 45, 47. I don't know what the current exchange rate is, but around 50. So I can't use the cash shop at all until the beginning of next month, it seems. I could make another account, but I'm like really not that invested in it. Like $45 to $50 is nothing on these kinds of games. People can spend thousands and stuff. So I don't know how much more I'll be playing that. It's nice to know that I do have the payment option working and everything, and the emulator's working really solid as well. So when it does come out in English, I'll have all that squared away, which is mainly the main purpose for playing that game. But this is in full English. I'm actually enjoying it a lot so far. I really dislike the character designs. They're all just like generic anime women. I can't even. I can barely tell them apart on the character select screen. But the gameplay is actually really solid. It's got like bootleg witch time. There's like cool character classes and stuff. I don't really have that much unlocked right now. I'm not going to bother doing an overview for this because I know this game's been out for a decent period of time, and I know that there's already people who have explained like every facet of this game, so I don't really feel like I have anything to offer there. But this will be a nice little side game. KOF for me, I definitely am enjoying it, but it's not even so much the language barrier, it's just the fact that there's like no English information. Like actually navigating the menus with what little Japanese I know, it hasn't been difficult at all. It's not like I'm alien to playing foreign games and stuff like that. That's not the issue. It's the fact that there's no like English information for any of like the battle cards or anything, and I'm starting to notice that that's a pretty big handicap later on. So I don't know how much more I'll really be playing it. It's nice to play this because it's already just in native English and everything. There's no crazy business or anything. Just turn the game on and it works. So I don't know how far I'll get into this. It seems to be running fine. I had to tweak my settings a little bit, and it seems to be working at a pretty stable 60 FPS. I did a couple videos before this, and they were starting to be really laggy, so I'm not sure why that is. But in any case, it'll be resolved later. So I'm trying to get this character here. This character is like the martial artist, but apparently there's like no events to get this character right now, so I either have to grind or get them from here. And I don't quite know how to do that yet. If anyone wants to backseat game me on this, I know there's probably a pretty high chance that some of you have played this game. Go ahead and let me know. I'm definitely totally blind on this. I saw like a couple people do some streams of it, and that's basically it. I don't really know anything else about the game, but it's very mechanically solid. I had no problem setting it up with a controller. The only real issue I had with it, and this is one of my like biggest pet peeves, is that you can't get to the settings until you play through the tutorial, and the tutorial's like 10 to 15 minutes in this game. So you spend like really long time with the game running at like sub 30 FPS. I tried this game like last month, I think, and I thought that the game just didn't run well on my computer. It turns out you have to skip through all that crap and learn how to play the game, and then you can finally get in here and get it to run at 60. I don't know why games do that, because I think it set a bad first impression for me. I initially thought it was the emulator. It turned out it was just the game not letting me get into the settings. I think they do that to like prevent people from like resetting. I know what little I know about mobile games. I know that like resetting and like the beginning of the game over and over until you get whatever the optimal drop is or whatever. That's a pretty common practice in these games, and I think they make the tutorials really long on purpose to prevent that. King of Fighters has the same problem too, but that game at least lets you get into the settings right away. So at the very least, you know, if your phone can't run it or you're on an emulator and you can't run it, you can get in there fast. But that wasn't the case here. But aside from that, this has been a pretty enjoyable experience, and I've had no issues getting the controller to run. Apparently there's like an official emulator for this, but I didn't really feel like using that when I already have this set up, and it seems to be working fine, so I don't really see a reason to bother with that. So I'm going to go ahead and I got a free loot box here. Get some surprise mechanics up in here. One thing I really like about this game over KOF is that it gives you a guaranteed good drop past a certain point, and it's like actually a reasonable amount. So like right now it's saying that I can get an S rank character within the next 22 drops. So if I wanted to, I don't know if I like the game enough to spend any more money on it than I did. I already spent like 25 bucks, but if I wanted to, I could go in here and pay like, what would it be? Probably about 30 bucks. Maybe 30, 35 bucks depending on how you combine these, and I could get a guaranteed one. I like that a lot better than KOF. The problem with KOF is that you get like whole movesets locked behind the loot boxes, and the pity box for them is like, it's like 300 times you have to try, which is like a ridiculous amount of money. I hope that's one of the things that they'll adjust with the global version. I think they should drastically reduce it, if not just by half, then like even more. You know, maybe if it was like 50 to 75 or 100, I think anything within there would be pretty reasonable for most people, but 300, that's kind of what's turning me off playing it anymore right now, at least while I have that spending limit. I hope that that's something that will be addressed later on. And anyway, since this video is pretty long, I'm going to go ahead and draw another one of these. Maybe I can get the martial artist chick. I still don't know how a lot of the systems work. We got homie treasure, whatever the hell that is. So now, since I did another loot box, if I bought another 21, then that would give me a guaranteed one. I think that's actually really nice. That definitely cuts back on the bullshit in these games, because they definitely cheat the system a lot in these. You know, it's like, how much money can you spend, and you may not even get anything you want. And here they have like a lot of ways to reduce the RNG. Like here, if you do it within 100, you get a guaranteed one. That's the kind of thing I can like feasibly spend more money on. Like when it's just completely random, or like the pity drop is like really high, then that's kind of when I'm gonna nope out of it. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and stop there. I will attempt to stream this. I don't know how well it will stream. KOF All-Stars for me, especially, like that game, definitely it starts to dip quite a bit when I stream it, and it gets worse when I use XSplit Broadcaster. I guess it's because they're both on the same CPU core, or some nonsense like that. So I don't know if I'll stream this. I don't know if people would really be interested in watching it, but it's a very enjoyable game. I think it's cool that mobile games are starting to get more innovative. I mean, obviously, the character action game is not really an innovative thing anymore, but on a mobile platform it is. It actually controls quite well. I imagine even if I did have to play with a touchscreen for whatever reason, it would actually be pretty responsive. And the game actually has pretty fair monetization so far. I don't know how bad it gets later on, but I'm definitely impressed with how I was able to get an A rank character just from rolling the loot box like 4 times. I think that's actually pretty awesome. You know, make sure that when people support your game that they have a guaranteed chance to at least get something instead of just a bunch of garbage. That's what's really pushing me away from KOF a little bit, but we don't know how things will be adjusted for the global release. I imagine they'll probably lower the price of the cash shop, probably across the board. I played a lot of other Asian foreign action MMOs like this in the past, and that tends to happen when they get localized. So we'll see what happens there, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.